The Legend of Zelda timeline is the series' greatest puzzle. Ever since the first few games came out, the timeline has been in a state of constant change. Games slated to be prequels became completely separate stories, others became clear sequels, and before long, issues like timeline splits and specific timeline placements became constant points of discussion. And minor spoilers for Age of Calamity, it appears that even more time shenanigans will be involved before long. Since the Zelda timeline is so complicated, many hardly bother with it except when absolutely necessary. On the other hand, you have dedicated theorists who study the series meticulously to find connections wherever they may lie. Now, the Zelda team themselves have never given an official timeline of the series, and though some books containing timelines like the Hyrule Historia have even been licensed by Nintendo, the Zelda team has remained tight-lipped on the timeline itself. This, to many, means that any efforts to solve the timeline are pointless. But to just as many, the opposite is true. As the Zelda series producer himself has said, we want players to be able to continue having fun imagining this world even after they are finished with the game, so this time, we decided that we would avoid making clarifications. I hope that everyone can find their own answer in their own way. This quote specifically was under the context of Breath of the Wild, but a surprising amount of this applies to the series as a whole. If you want to have fun after playing the games themselves, the games are also designed so that you can spend as much time as you want theorizing on how they fit together. There's one big problem with this all, however. Not a lot of people have hours upon hours to spend pondering the mini-games and how they fit together, especially considering they already played the games themselves, and as soon as you run into something like time travel in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, or Skyward Sword, things immediately get a lot more complicated. A single instance of time travel is enough to stretch any person's brain, but the Zelda series has been absolutely riddled with time travel since Ocarina of Time, making things very hard to understand. And considering that it's actually designed for different people to have different interpretations, it's a lot to keep up with. So what could be done about this? Well, I was wondering that, and my best answer is this. A new video series. Yes, that's right, I'll now be doing my best to publish an episode of Interpreting the Timeline every month from here on out. No promises. And each episode will cover a theory or aspect about the Zelda timeline. My goal is to try to cover as many facts about each aspect as possible, and then go over some theories that either I have on the subject, or just some commonly accepted theories on the matter. However, the point is not to convince everyone of any one theory. The point is to give you all the information and logic I can gather that goes into these theories, and then see what you have to think on the matter. I can't promise I'll always be able to explain each theory 100% clearly, or that they even truly work consistently, but I'll do my best to present everything about anything that I cover in the series. So, if you're ready to find the right timeline interpretation for you, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out. The first episode will hopefully cover whatever the timeline implications of Age of Calamity are, specifically in relation to Breath of the Wild. By the way, I'll also be streaming Age of Calamity tomorrow on Twitch under the username Zelda Legend Zone, so if you want to stop on by, I'll be plowing through a lot of the game then. Anyway, that's all I had to share this time. If you have any video ideas for this series, go let me know in the comments, because I want to try to break down as much of Zelda chronology as possible. If you ever have any questions either, just let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time you're in the Legend Zone.